Our new unit investigates how the past influenced the present. Talk to some older family members and ask what important events that have happened during their lifetime. How have those events impacted their life? Could these be personal events or events that have changed the whole world, that have impacted their lives?
So did you hear that question, Grandma?
I did. It's quite a long question. Is it in any particular part of my life or the beginning of my life?
Anytime you, what inventions have changed your life?
Wow, inventions.
Well, not inventions. What has changed your life?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that being born in an African country would have impacted my life because I was born in the Sudan and lived a long way away from any neighbours. And when we first were in the Sudan, my parents only had well water or water from the river, and no electricity, only kerosene, and so no running water and no electricity. So when we got electricity and we had more water facilities, that changed our lives because it was easy to have a bath if you had running water. So that was important. But then the next thing that changed my life was when the Sudan got its independence from Great Britain and we had to move back to England. And that was a big change because the weather in England was very cold in the winter time, so we had to change the clothes that we wore. And I went to a different school where my teachers had more than 2 or 3 students in the class. There were 20 students in the class. Then I guess the next major change would have been when I went to a little school full-time in a place not far from where my parents had their business. And that was another big change. I guess the next change would have been when I moved from England to Australia, and we came across land in a combi van, and that meant that we visited places like France and Switzerland, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Yugoslavia, places like that. So I guess that would have changed me because I had an understanding of all the different kinds of people who lived in the world and all the different countries with all the different languages and cultures. We travelled through Turkey, Iran, Pakistan and India. So they were very different cultures from what we would be used to in England until we got to Australia. And then that was another big change. And that, I suppose, being in Australia changed my life because I was able to go to a school that prepared me to go to university, which might not have happened in England, which enabled me to become a teacher. So changes in where people live can impact on their lives and what they end up doing.
I get that.
That is that what is your question referring to?
Yeah,
changes in my.
Yeah, it can be personal events, but it can also be events in the world.
Oh yes. Well, I guess the event in the world was when JFK was assassinated because everybody loved him as a President of the United States of America, and nobody expected that he would die the way he did. So that made everybody a little bit worried about world security and what would happen after the President of the United States had been murdered, basically, or we call it assassination. So that
And
happened
that
in
means
1960.
If it was a
4,
murderer,
5?
he did it
Long
himself. If it was an assassin, he got paid to do it.
Possibly, yes. Probably. I'm not really sure. I don't think they know to this day why he actually did it. But that happened. I remember that very clearly when that was announced. I think when people have accidents, like Princess Diana, that was a very moving thing. Princess Diana was such a lovely person and was doing so many good things that it made everybody quite sad that when she had a car accident. So that's a sort of thing. But if you get closer to personal things like my grandma, when my grandma died when I was 12 years old, that really upset me a lot. That impacted my life, I guess, because it makes you appreciate older people and especially your grandparents, because they have a lot of wisdom and they just love you so much. And I just missed my grandma when she died.
Thank you, Grandma. I just busted.
Anything else?
No, not really. I just busted a homework task. I just busted a homework.
Thank you for helping me
Thank
with
you
my
for
homework.
helping me with my homework.
My pleasure. I hope it's helped you a lot.
It has.